Listen up, Rangers! Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and today, for this unimportant review, we have the Mcfarlane Toys Spawn Manga. Listen up, Rangers! Welcome to the Geek Chest. Listen up, Rangers! Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and today in this unimportant review, we have the Mcfarlane Toys Spawn Manga Spawn figure, which oddly looks like Medieval Spawn, but we'll let it slide this time. Main reason I bought this is because it looks like Medieval Spawn, and I always love me some Medieval Spawn. More so, this kind of looks more like if Medieval Spawn had a Gundam or some kind of mech, and this is what it is. Because this thing is freaking gigantic. Like, just for comparisons, we'll do it now. This is a normal Spawn figure next to good old Mr. Bluey here. So as you can see, the scaling on this thing is pretty huge, but it is considered a mega figure, I think is what they call them. But thought it was cool. I've been buying the Spawn stuff. Also love the original Manga Spawn way back in the day. Always thought it was cool. Oddly enough, it's weird that they do Manga Spawn, and they do Manga Spawn, like, generally speaking, sort of like a mechanized version of whatever iteration they're going for, which this one's definitely more medieval orientation. But there's an actual Spawn manga. I know they did a figure, or at least I remember seeing a figure version of it, but you would think they would maybe do a little bit more with it, especially if they're going with these titles. But anyways, without further ado, for the packaging, I'm going to shift him aside just for a second. But you do get the flowing green flames in the back. You get Manga Spawn here on the bottom with the name. It is a designer edition. Side, you just get a illustration of it. Honestly, not as super into that one. At least the way the picturing is as some of the other ones, because I don't know if Mcfarlane drew this one up, if I'm going to be honest. But still, it looks pretty dope. And then you got the Mcfarlane Toys, their handles, and some legal mumbo jumbo on the bottom. But anyways, bringing back Manga Spawn here. One thing that's sweet about him, first and foremost, is he actually has a cloth cape. Not a wired cloth cape, but it's still a cloth cape nonetheless. And also has all of these extra weapon accessories. Granted, this one's kind of bending a bit. I tried to heat it up to see if it would form back into place, but it wasn't cooperating very well. But that's because you actually take these all off. Shimmy them around. Even the shield comes off. This actually pops out. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, but it's doable. He's got these little daggers here. You know, they weren't that hard to get, but it's so much harder to remove. Damn it. Thank God, because you can see, like, these things are super-duper flexible, which is kind of nice because you don't have to worry about them breaking or snapping randomly, which is kind of what I was concerned about, because this definitely looks like it would be like a thin plastic. This, on the other hand, is actually plastic. Oh, I just realized that that's his face. It's got the Spawn logo on here. Sort of like Medieval Spawn. It's crazy, I know. But it's really nice translucent green. It's got a very, almost kind of like a Green Lantern look. Like the Green Lantern shield, but it's got a little bit of like mechanized circuitry thing going on the inside, but pretty sweet. It's the same thing with the weapons here, where you have this pike looking thing. I forgot to turn off my notifications on my phone. Sorry about that. We don't edit these videos. But a lot of really nice detailing, especially with the metallic silver. And then it has the little hole here on the center. That's just like just showed you previously, but the pegs go here on the back. They have the actual spear, which has the translucent plastic here on the sides. Really solid too. This one's got a little bit of a bend to it. I noticed when purchasing them, I had options of 4 of them, and all of them kind of had, the weapons are kind of a little cockeyed in each one of them. This one was a little bit more straighter, just the actual blade that goes into it, which as you can see, the way that at least the molding suggests is that the blade extends outwards, which is actually kind of cool. It's almost sort of very Gypsy Danger-esque, which I think is what, again, makes me reminds me more of a mech in the way that's designed. And you also have these little daggers, which you have the Switchblade one, almost kind of like Evangelion. And then the more traditional knife, also still sort of like Evangelion, because, who had the Switchblade? Unit 1 had the more Switchblade, Asuka had the more actual knife-looking thing. And then the giant sword. Giant green glowy sword, which is easily my favorite. And you can also, if you want them holding on to them, hopefully slot that into the hands. Like so. So now you got them ready for battle, ready to kill some violators, or whatever you want to pose them against. Because personally, I'm almost more interested in putting this thing with some Godzilla figures, just because, again, it kind of looks like a giant robot. So, I kind of want to treat it as such. It needs to, like, take out some Ultraman monsters, I feel like. But still really sweet. I'll be honest, when I first saw this, I wasn't quite as into it, initial designs, because I was just like, oh, it's just robot medieval Spawn, like, whew. But after, like, it's kind of growing on me, especially after getting in and playing with it a little bit more. I think me thinking of it as more like Megazord, destroyer of kaijus, like, Spawn needs a little bit extra oomph, and then this thing shows up. Because even the sides, like the side of the heads, you get the little wings, which, again, kind of reminds me of Gundam in a way. And as the faceplate here, you see the green on the eyes. Same with on the shoulder here, which looks super menacing. As the metallic silver for the forearm here. Kind of wish there was maybe some other stuff you could hook onto the arm, because it would be kind of cool if you could maybe attach the pike on the side here or something. Just give it a little bit more variety for placement of stuff instead of just the energy shield. But still looks really good. And then you have the more Spawn logo on the chest here. I almost thought this was kind of like a face originally. I also dig that he has a boner. He's got a little skull hanging out on the crotch piece here. And he's got spiky bits on his shoulders, spiky bits on his arms, spiky bits on his legs, more skulls on his knees. I don't know what a near is. I don't know how that works with the human anatomy. It's got vents on the front. Again, suggests more mechan, more like a mech, because it's even got pistons on the back here. Granted, they don't work, but they're there. More spiky protrusions on the side. There's even gears in the feet. Like, this thing's dope. I kind of want to give him a bigger cape. I'm not going to lie. Like, if somebody makes like a third-party cape for this guy, I almost feel like he needs something a little bit more elaborate. Also, you got to kind of worry about with the way the shoulder placement is how that's going to hide the cape on the undersection here. I almost kind of think you could maybe remove it. Also kind of wish this little face butt thing maybe had a little bit more detailing on it. But, nah, outside of that, like, sculpt-wise, I think it's pretty sweet. I also don't quite understand why it's blue. Especially for it being Spawn, because for the most part, like, its color palette's almost akin to Redeemer in a way, just because of the way the blue kind of coincides with it. But still, it's a very unique looking figure, which I could definitely appreciate. For its articulation, head can do all the crazy things. A little bit of wiggle, some ups and downs. The shoulders here can shift. This one can shift, but not super crazy. It does have single jointed elbows, which are on a ratchet. So you can move them forward and back. Hands can rotate side to side. Get a little bit of play. I'm pretty sure they're on a ball joint. Waist can go forward and back. Decent crunch. Also makes his tummy look like it's talking. Can go side to side. Legs outwards about that far. Inwards about that far. Surprisingly, not too much of a forward kick, but pretty decent back. Rotation at the top of the thigh. Double jointed knees. That's actually kind of surprising. Feet can rotate side to side. Got a nice side wiggle. No toe articulation, but this actually it's made out of rubber, which I'm just now realizing. I haven't really messed with that one because this one's actually hard plastic for the foot section here. So overall, pretty sweet. If you guys want to pick this up for yourselves, this is a Target exclusive. Man, I can't talk today. It's been a super long day. Like, I worked all day and then been working on some 3D printing stuff and whatnot. Steve needs a nap. Anyways, it's a Target. I still get Target. How is Target such a hard word to say for me? You have to go there to buy it. If you would like to get some Spawn merchandise for yourselves, though, we have a link in the description for Entertainment Earth. Get yourself some sweet collectibles and also help support the channel. But I'm going to sit here, toss his little spears back on. The one thing I always thought was kind of weird is when they were showing, like, this guy packaging-wise and some of the promotional stuff, they had the weapons facing upwards like that. But they had, like, the spears facing up, and that makes no sense to me because you think, like, he'd have to reach behind himself to grab the handle. And I really wouldn't want to grab a blade. Also kind of wanted to have him holding the sword, but I kind of also don't want to store any of the accessories. So, whoop, just gonna put everything back on him. He's just gonna hang on the shelf. But do I put him with the Spawn stuff, or do I put him with, like, the Power Ranger guys? Because then he could be, like, fighting Eye Guy or something. Granted, he's a little large to be fighting Eye Guy. Just hold on. I got him right behind me. I think. Can I get him without knocking all the Power Rangers off the shelf? I can. This is him next to Eye Guy. Yeah, I could see that. Just good to goes. Because to be honest, this much weaponry, I think if he was the same size as Godzilla, would definitely be a little bit too much for him to handle. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. So help us defeat those kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, Facebook. Oh yeah, I forgot. He also comes with the stand, but doesn't really need it. Just comes with all the Spawn figures, which is nice, but because of the size of its feet, it's kind of redundant. But I do like having extra ones just for the smaller figures. Help us. We already did the kaiju thing, right? We also got Patreon, Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. Guys, let's keep up to date with channel. Donate. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next video. Bye bye.